What's up guys, it's Roger, and today we are playing some more Trials of Osiris on Midtown. Now last week I had to build together using the Eye of Another World exotic. This made me have incredibly fast ability uptime, but I wanted to try something else out. Here you're going to see an exotic called the Nezarec's Sin. It has a perk here called Abyssal Extractors. That says void ability kills increase ability energy recharge rate. So what that actually means is that every time you get a void kill, it's going to give you Abyssal Extractors, right? That's going to give you a 300% additional base grenade and melee regeneration rate, and also a 200% additional base class and super regeneration rate. So it boosts all of your stuff there, right? Very good, we love to see that. Of course, this only works on Void, so we're going to be using our abilities to proc this and our weapons. So we'll talk about our weapons here very soon, but first of all, let's go ahead and break down the actual mods here. So you're going to see I have on some stasis targeting and some void targeting for the weapons we're going to use. We'll get to those very soon. I have some orb generation type stuff here with my heavy-handed, firepower, and reaper. So if we get a kill with our empowered melee, with our grenade, or with our class ability, and then we get a kill with our gun after we use our class ability, we will make an orb of power. You can pause if you want to read any more of these in depth. But once we pick those orbs up, what are we going to get? Well, we're going to proc our Absolution, our Innervation, and our Orbs of Restoration. So you can go ahead and pause again if you want to read any of these more in depth, but essentially they're just going to give us a bunch of ability energy back. The last thing to give us ability energy back is going to be the Bomber mod. So that's going to reduce your grenade cooldown when using your class ability, so that gives us around 20 to 25% of our grenade ability back every time we use a Rift. Now, when it comes to what we're actually going to use for void weapons to proc our Abyssal Extractor on our Nezarec's Sin, first of all, I have the Veli's X. Now, this was the little pinnacle weapon a few seasons ago, and it's a pretty good pulse rifle. It's an aggressive burst. You can see it goes down so far here that it almost knocks that word off the screen, but that's just Bungie stuff right there. You can see this thing has repulsor brace, which is very nice. You can kill somebody that's weakened, volatile, anything like that, and then you can get repulsor brace, which is just a very nice overshield, which will save you a lot and help you actually aggress upon your enemies. After that, we have kill clip, so if we can't kill somebody, we can get a kill clip there and burst the next one down pretty quickly. So I was using this gun for a little while, but you're going to see in the gameplay that I eventually do end up switching to the Last Perdition towards the end of the video. I just like this more as a pulse rifle. I was trying to find void pulses because that's kind of what I wanted to use for this build, so I could get the long range proc of our Abyssal Extractor and then get our abilities back. Because if you're going to do a hand cannon or an SMG or a shotgun, you can still proc your Nezarec's Sin, but it's going to be more risky. So that's why I am personally using a pulse rifle, especially on Midtown, because it's a long range map. Now, this one has rangefinder and kill clip, so again, very nice roll here. I do want to say, if you want to try hard and cheese it up and just meta abuse, you can just use Graviton Lance. Of course, this gun is freaking nutty right now, and you'll be slapping bussies around like nobody's business. So if that's something you're interested in, then go ahead and just use that. And when it comes to our close range weapon, I do have a Fractithist shotgun on right here just so we can get on top of our enemies and smack them down with that. When it comes to our Void 3.0, pretty simple stuff here. We do have a Nova Bomb here so we can shut down those wells, those bubbles, everything that's going to be crushed on top of a cap point so people can try to just sit in that circle. Over here, we do have a Healing Rift. We have on Blink, of course. If you want to be some little floaty freak, you can do that, but blinking is the best way possible for me. Over here, we have Pocket Singularity. Of course, we do have so many great choices here, you know? It's like George Washington's wig right here. And then we have the Applejack's character right here, Cinnamon, I think his name is. And that's great and all, but I think I'm just going to go with the classic Pocket Singularity. Now, over here, I'm using Axion Bolts. These are really good, especially on long-range builds. You can throw them out, do about one tap, or one burst, I should say, to the head with your pulse rifle, and that'll usually get the enemy low enough to where the Axion Bolt can just finish them off. That'll proc your Devour, which we have on right here, which will give you some ability energy back for your nades, and it'll fully heal you. Then you can keep shredding them. You can get a Child of the Old Gods, or as we call him on my channel, Clarence. Clarence is my son from the Void. When you shoot somebody after using a Rift, he's gonna fly out there. Now, he kind of has not very good vision, you know, I need to buy him some glasses, so those are going to be in the mail soon, but he doesn't have the best vision, so sometimes he gets caught on walls or whatnot, but when he does get to his target, he starts sucking their toes like a TikTok orgy. So that's great, we love to see that. What does he do when he sucks those toes? Well, he sends you some grenade and melee energy back, so that's great stuff right there. When it comes down to our fragments here, I have on Echo of Dilation, so when you are crouched, you sneak faster and you get a very in-tuned radar. That picks apart exactly where your enemies are and lets you know, with that information, how you should aggress upon them. After that, we do have on Echo of Persistence, so your initial proc of your Devour is going to go from 10 seconds to 15 seconds. After that, you have Echo of Expulsion, so if you kill somebody with your melee or your grenade, I don't think it works with Clarence, maybe it does. Clarence is actually very weird when it comes to interacting with stuff like this, but the point is that this is going to explode them a secondary time, which can be very good for enemies that are holding hands. It does around 60-ish damage, I believe. Down here we have Echo of Vigilance. This is going to finish off our subclass right here, and that just says defeating a target when your shields are depleted gives you a full overshield, which obviously is very nice so you can keep aggressing upon your enemies. But overall, it's a pretty simple build. I'll tell you more of my thoughts on the actual Netherrack Sin when we do get into the gameplay, in case you're wondering about that. But before we get to that, if you do want to leave me a like or subscribe at any point in this video, I'd very much appreciate that. If you want to go that extra step further and support the channel monetarily, then you can go ahead and join my membership. It's called Puff for People, or my Low Puffs. That's 2 different tiers, one for 99 cents and one for $4.99 every single month. So you can go ahead and help me create the best videos possible for you guys every single day. Now, all that being said, I think we're ready to go ahead and get into this gameplay. So without further ado, let's go ahead and blink on into it. So coming into this first round, I kind of just wanted to do some testing with this exotic and actually see what the ability regeneration looks like. Whenever I can actually point it out to you guys that I get use out of it, I'll make sure to do that. So first of all, we use the Rift. That's good stuff. And I want to get a kill with one of my abilities if I can, or with my Veli's X right here, so I can actually proc those Abyssal Extractors and check out what they feel like. But more importantly than that, obviously, I just wanted to go ahead and frag out on the round if I could. So I went in flew with the shotgun here because I saw a perfect opportunity to actually do that. You can see I got a nice little one piece there. Unfortunately, like I was barely out of my range, and I was like, bruh, you're kidding me. So I was coming around to get it, but luckily my teammates went crazy right there. Shot out to Bot Iris, one of my Puffer people, one of my subscribers, and one of my good friends nowadays. He was online. I was like, yo, if you want to join up with me, you just let me know. You can come in my party, and he did that. So shout out to him. You'll see some good plays from him. I know I have one round in here where he just goes freaking Mac Daddy crazy. So I'll point that out when it gets to it. You guys are gonna be impressed with this guy. But you can see here, look at the ability regeneration. Abyssal Extractors went for a few seconds there. It's gonna go again right here. You can see those abilities pumping up. Well, you kind of can, because my thing popped up in the way, and then I put my nutsack so far down that guy's throat that he was tasting it for the next week. But besides that, you can see it a little bit. It's not crazy ability regeneration. Honestly, I think after testing it that I would prefer to just use, oh, this is pretty funny right here. This guy went for a little swim right there off of their, Papa Roger showed him some nice swim instructions. We get some nice kills there. Bot actually picks that one up, and then this guy walks back in, hit him for around 98 with my shotgun there, and then Bot picks him up too, so we love to see that. Good teams right there. Thank you for playing with my Bot. I mean, that makes it much easier. But as you can see, the ability regeneration, when you do get the Abyssal Extractors proccing, it's just decent. Like, it's nothing crazy. Even if you can get all 3 kills, it's just fine. I think where it starts being very impressive, and you'll see here, I get 2 grenade kills, right? So you can rewind and see how much I got back from my kills there, and then the third one dies right there. Awesome. So I even got my Devour procced on those first 2 kills, from the actual grenade getting a kill, proccing my Devour, and it was void kills, so Abyssal Extractor was on. And that's nice, but even still, you saw my ability regeneration was just fine. Like, it's good, and then I was able to pick up orbs too, since I killed them with grenades, and I have on the things that make orbs when I get kills with my nades. So, like, I like that, but at the same time, if I'm going to use a big ability regeneration, again, you can watch it there. Abyssal Extractors pumping up my Rift right there. Bot wanted to give me a nice little smooch on the kiss, so we French kissed a little bit right there, put my tongue down his tongue, and then walked away and went our separate ways. But you can just see, like, I would just recommend using Eye of Another World if you want to go for, like, a crazy fast ability uptime build, which is the build that I did last weekend. I'll put that on the end screen in case you want to watch that build, because it's really good too, and I honestly just recommend that. The thing with that exotic is it's always on, It's a complete passive exotic. You don't have to do anything to go ahead and proc that. You can see we're going to get Abyssal Extractors right there, and it lasts for 3 seconds, I believe it is. Like, that's basically nothing. Each time you can proc it, I believe it goes for another 3 seconds, up to a total of 20 seconds possibly you can get it up to. Again, it's going to pump there a little bit, so it goes, and we actually do get our melee back from that. We get that last kill, and it goes, and we almost get our Rift back, so it's just, like, cool. It helped a little bit there, but it just doesn't do as much as I want it to. And I didn't expect it to, there's a reason people don't run this in PvP, or even PvE for that matter, because even in PvE, it's still just decent. But in PvP especially, it's just not a great choice. But even still, I mean, in terms of drip, it looks pretty dripped up, we gotta admit that. But other than that, besides putting some big old hot dogs on the side of your heads, letting those stick up towards the roof, it just doesn't really deliver like I need it to, It just doesn't do what I need it to do to be an exotic that I would run ever. And especially on my blink lock, it's hard to ever get me off of my Astrocyte verse. Very scarcely will I actually switch off and use other stuff. And when I do, it is something like Eye of Another World, which is a good passive exotic that I don't have to think about using too much, and just helps me get my abilities up and go from there. You can see again, Abyssal Extractor is gonna go, and by the time it runs out, we almost have our entire Rift back up. Bot's gonna put his stinky fat head in front of my face, take out the last guy, boop, we get our Rift back from that. And that's great. But like I'm saying, it's just not giving me enough oomph, not enough bang for my buck that I would ever want to use that exotic often, you know, or ever. So I can't recommend that you actually like use this exotic too much. If you want to play around with it a little bit like I did, then go ahead and do it, because it was a fun experiment to see, and maybe you could even get it working more than I could, but it's just fine. It's just a fun little exotic that you can use. You can see here we're going to frag out on these guys, get a good amount of Abyssal Extractor going, but even still, you know, it's decent. Other than that, this map is pretty fine, especially if you're doing pulse rifles. You can hold down lanes pretty well. You can get your clearance up and throw that out. That's going to lock down a lot of extra area for you. And a big thing on this map, your Echo of Dilation is going to be very good. So you're going to see here, I've thrown my rift so I can 3-peek on these guys, and then I take a peek off of the information that I just got after doing that 3-peek. Notice every time, so I'm going to get that kill. I'm going to go over there, see the information on my radar, blink in off of using my radar to get that information, fly in, kill a second guy, looking for the third one, and I map him pretty good and take him out. And that's what I'm using my actual radar for, right? Getting all that information. As soon as I get a kill, I'm looking at my radar immediately so I can see where these sussy Vakas are, and then fly in on them and smack them up real good. You can blink in there if you want to, because you can take people out pretty easily in that hallway. They do not expect someone to blink into that hallway. Just be careful you're trying to blink inside. Those are very, very low ceilings, so it can be a little difficult. Take out the second guy there, looking for third, and it looks like he's coming up to the staircase with my radar right here. I can see that. One thing to say is Echo of Dilation. So I do want to talk about this Echo a lot, because it's one of my favorite ones that Warlock has for Void Warlock, right? Missed my shotgun shot there, but it's going to be punch him in the butt cheeks twice, spank him like Mama used to when he said a naughty word, and put him in the dirt. Now, when it comes to Echo of Dilation, what you want to do if you're in a rift like right here, you want to just be crouching at most times. Like right there, I could have been crouching, but I already had the radar information to know exactly where this guy was, so I didn't need more information. But especially if you're going to actually go peek with your shot or your ranged weapons, or going with your shotgun, like right now, see how I'm crouching? I'm crouching because I want to read my very, very in-tuned radar. And from doing that crouch right there, what did I learn? Well, I learned there was one ahead of me in hallway, and there was two actually to my left, playing the staircase in front of my teammate here. That's why you need the Echo of Dilation, so you can get that very in-tuned radar that's going to give you the most information possible. You can see I blink in just to grab those orbs if I needed them, but I think I already had super going into this. Smack this second guy here, flicking around looking for the last guy, and kill him with my shot, or my pulse rifle again, just to get Abyssal Extractors going, some good ability energy for the next round as we go in. And I actually have my Nova Bomb here to hopefully finish this game off. But again, when it comes to Echo of your Dilation right there, that's just what I'm trying to tell you guys. In the rift, like right here, when you don't have information yet, what you want to do is while you are behind a wall, make sure you're crouching. Then you can look at your Echo of Dilation radar and see exactly where your enemies are. You can see I'm going to stop aiming down sights really quick, and the second I stop aiming down sights, I go into a crouch. I use that crouch state really, really quickly to see where my enemies are, and then I use that information to see how I want to aggress upon them. And that's what you got to do. Even things like when you kill somebody with a shotgun, and then you immediately stop aiming down sights. Like right there, I'm using my Echo Dilation to see exactly how they're pushing so that I could do a push like that, grab my Devour off those first two kills, and then just go ahead and see if I can smack this last guy, do a nice little blink off the top of the roof right there, fly on top of his head and punch him. Unfortunately, I do trade, but that's completely fine because it kept the match going and then we ended up winning, so that's very awesome. You love to see that stuff right there. Now coming in here, this is a good thing you can do. You can actually do a blink pop-up float off those sandbags. I was trying to do it a little bit, but I messed it up. But you can throw that Axion in right there, and you can see that might grab a kill. It does for 103, hits that guy very well, which means I can actually fly in with my shotgun, finish him off with a nice pocket singularity, fly around when I see this guy on my radar, and try to get on top of him, which I do, smack him up with my Veli's X, and that's a nice little round right there. Always throw that nice little Axion bolt down lane like that. It's going to chase your enemies out, especially if they are sniping. You can slide in with the Axion bolt, do some damage, and the Axion bolt will usually pick up your kill for you, and then you can start getting more aggressive if you would like to. And that's the stuff I try to do with my Axion bolts, is try to get it to pinch my enemies so I can actually push upon them with it, you know, pinch my enemies in between my Axion bolt and my damage. And if you can do that, you'll start getting to a point where you're using your Axion bolts very effectively. Teammate takes that guy out, and I was like, I don't know if we can actually win this now, but he gets a really nice Well of Radiance. I throw it on my Axion bolt and immediately start trying to do damage, which I do pretty darn well. I actually smack that guy up with my shotgun, and then my teammates just go crazy punching these guys like Mike Tyson finds you inside of an alleyway and you stole his nice little piece of cake, and he just punches you out. So that's pretty good. My teammates started bagging there. I don't remember if they bagged us or if that guy just wanted to bag them because we actually beat them with a well inside of a bubble. Whatever the case was, I don't really care. Honestly, this player base is so toxic that they deserve a little bit of bags in their face sometimes. Now, you can see we smacked that first guy. I'm coming around over here. This guy's going to backpedal with an immortal because he's a stupid loser pussy. Now, after that, I was like, you know what? Screw it. My team is going to come smack him up, so that's fine with me anyways. Luckily, I had my Echo of Vigilance proc there off of killing the first guy, which gave me a full Void Overshield. Since I had that full Void Overshield, he wasn't able to smack me down quick enough with his immortal there, and I was actually able to go ahead and live. So that's something that I want to point out with the Echo of Vigilance. That's why I love it so much. That guy took a nice little dip in the ocean right there. I felt bad for him, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a beautiful swan dive just like I do off the bridge every night when I get too depressed off playing Destiny 2 and join you in the waters below my brother. But yeah, Echo of Vigilance, very good, especially if you are going in deep with the actual shotgun. It'll save your life more than you would think. Even if you were getting it procced from a distance, it saves your life more than you would think because you can actually just disengage. We smack that guy down, Abyssal Extractors goes off. I throw in an Axiom Bolt since I see my Clarence is taking damage on the guy on the right. I blink in to follow my Axiom Bolt, which is perfect, so I can actually pinch that guy and smack him before he has too much time to actually adjust onto me and take him out with a nice shotgun shot. This guy flies in, and I'm like, brother, what are you doing? What's your name? Pawhoopy Hair? Terrible name. But it's okay, because the man, the myth, the legend bot is still alive, and you know your boy's about to clutch. This guy just can't help it. He has clutchitis. So what does he do? He decided to take some shots. He gets Blade Barrage. He flies up mid, beautifully flicks from the front guy to the back guy, and rocks their shit. You can see I instantly went into chat, and I was just like, whoa, you're crazy. He said, clip it, and I said no, because I wanted him to think that I didn't clip it, just so that when he sees this video, he's going to be very happy. Because that's just, that's just what kind of a friend I am. Get your hopes really low, and then bring them way back up, baby. You can see here I have the last prediction on smack that first guy, proc my kill clip so I can hopefully try to use that on another guy, but first I put down a rift just so I have enough health to actually live through any more damage that gets shot at me. Fly up with my actual shotgun here, map the first guy, hit the second guy a little bit, and then take out my pulse rifle here so I can do some extra damage. My teammates follow up beautifully, and we take these guys out very, very nicely. That's what's so important about getting a first pick, You got to get that first pick so you can get the momentum going. The second you have that, it's your choice. It's in your hands to decide how you're going to play the rest of that match, how you're going to play the rest of that round, I should say. Because the second you have that pick, it's like, okay, well, we can either aggress upon that, we can hold it from range, whatever you want to do. It's completely up to you, though, because you got the first pick, and now the actual match is in your hands. And you just get to go from there, and I love rounds like that. Absolutely decimated those guys. You can see the Abyssal Extractors put in some pretty good work on that round. When you actually get 3 kills like that, you get about 9 seconds of that going off, so it's pretty nice stuff. You can see right there in chat, he was like, good clutch, because he clutched up a different round, and I was like, oop, because it was a good clutch. He clutched up, it was very nice stuff. Beautiful snipe right there, lets me know that I can actually go in aggressive if I want to, so that's exactly what I do. Because once we have that, like I said before, we have 2 choices. We can sit there and not push onto that first res, or we can do what I did and push onto it. Titan smacked me out of base with his shoulder charge, by the way. That's why I was flying into the wall at Mach speed. You're going to notice there that I actually did punch that guy in the last round, even though it didn't lock on. You should remember, and keep this in mind, you actually can punch people without locking on. If you start punching before you're in range of them, and then you walk into range of an enemy, before the animation finishes, it will actually still punch them, if you didn't know that. So keep that in mind. It's just one of those stupid little things you can do with Destiny 2 because the game doesn't work. So that's nice. We are on the last round here, so I want to say thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you do want to leave me a like or subscribe, I'd very much appreciate that. Stick around to the end screen if you want to watch my video that I have up next for you guys with a different Warlock build with Eye of Another World from last week's Trials. And that's really just going to do it for me today. I'm going to let the rest of this play out for you guys, and as always, have a great day, Guardians.